Now, it must be something in the MMA water or something, because we got three world-renowned MMA fighters, well, at least two. I don't know too much about the third one, that have made some pretty interesting videos in regards to the Roger Jackson scuffle that happened a few days ago. Now, I'm not going to replay the video here or anything like that. I actually do have another video where I have that fight breakdown. I'll link to it. And I suggest you guys check it out before it potentially might get striked by YouTube, because apparently you're not supposed to show violence like that. That's how bad that video is. So many other content creators have not shown the video or anything like that because they are afraid that it will get a strike against them. Me, I'm still a small channel, so I might be able to swim right by through it. So if you want to watch that video, I'll link to it. Hold on just a second. Had to shut my door there for a second. So the first video we're going to start off with is Chael Sonnen. Now, Chael Sonnen, he's an old hand. He's been retired out of the UFC. I think going on a decade now. He's almost 50. He's still a nice looking, handsome man and everything like that. If you guys know Chael Sonnen, one of his most famous ones is when he got into it with Wanderlei Silva on The Ultimate Fighter, and he came up with that line, "I can't let you get too close." Now, I can't link to the Ultimate Fighter, that scene or anything, because the UFC, they are copyright claim crazy. But you can Google that online. He's gonna say something right here. This is my first time looking at the video right here, and I'm just gonna react to certain parts here and there, and we'll go from that one. The next one will be from Sean Strickland, and then after that, it'll be from a black UFC fighter who I remember, but I don't remember his name. He goes by Philly Fresh on Instagram. Philip Rowe. I've only seen a couple of his fights, but the most famous match that I've seen him have is with Gordon Ryan. He actually stepped up and grappled with Gordon Ryan in a jiu-jitsu tournament, and of course that was all one-sided. Gordon Ryan is a beast, but all three of these guys are making some comments about this situation. So let's start off right here with Chael Sonnen. And if you guys want to watch this without my commentary, I will link to all three of them in my description.
Raja Jackson, Rampage's son. Now, let me just start out with a disclosure to you all that I know this young man, and I like him a lot. I don't just know him to be level-headed and calm. I know him to be quite polite. I want to preface that because I don't think that will interfere with my ability to tell you what happened here, but this is a wildly complicated situation. So let's start with what you saw. You saw Raja get in the ring as part of a wrestling angle that was scripted and planned. You see Raja come in with his wits about him, waits for the right moment, picks up a double leg, just as it was planned. And he's doing this with Psycho Stu. And
actually, just to correct off the bat, none of that part was planned. In fact, this entire thing was not planned. It was not planned at all. It was impromptu. Hey, we can levy this situation in our advantage. Why don't we go ahead and play up on it? We'll let you get your receipt in, as Roger Jackson's friend Andre said, and you can go ahead and we'll go ahead and play up on that. That's what it was supposed to be. So it was not planned. It was impromptu. There's two different things right there. So off the bat, Chael was already incorrect in that regard.
Psycho Stu is letting it play perfectly. Raja then turns him around so that when he brings him down, it's right in the center of the ring, which appears to be very clearly what they agreed and had planned to do.
Again, it was not planned and agreed to do. It was not planned or agreed to that he would actually slam him into the mat. Again, according and the receipt, if you guys were able to look at and I'll probably just link a portion of that interview from Jesse on Fire. He did an analysis of an interview that Andre had done on the F All Y'all podcast, which is, if you guys know who he is, CT Fletcher's another old hand, and then a much older hand. He's famous in the bodybuilding world. A receipt is basically a simple check fist. It's a light tap. It's not. This is what I'm doing right here. According to what Andre showed, this is a receipt. That's all it is. But later in that video, you also heard Andre calling Raja and letting him know, hey, you were just supposed to give him a double leg. And the slam was not planned. Although when you see Stu's body language, you see him, he doesn't respond or anything like that to being picked up. So Stu thinks it's all part of the act as well. But again, getting slammed like that into the mat, not planned. Not planned at all.
Now, the landing is not great. When Raja brings Psycho Stu down, it's not great. And Stu lands in a way and he hits the back of his head. And he looks as though he perhaps lost a level of consciousness right then. All right. Either way, this is what happened. And either way, Raja Jackson, from my vantage point, is working out the spot the way.
And another thing, you don't have to take Chael's word for it. That video is all out there for you to see for yourself and to observe for yourself and everything like that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and allow what he said at the beginning regarding his relationship with Raja Jackson and Rampage Jackson. I'm not going to hold that against him. But to me, this sounds like a family friend who is defending a friend and is trying to lessen the impact of what he saw and what we saw to help that friend out. We all saw the video of him ourselves. So let's go ahead and keep on going.
It was planned. Raja then follows up with a right hand. Then he switches and follows up with a left hand. Now, these were hard shots. However,
man, I'm just stopping here left and right. He makes it seem as though it was just two shots. If it was two shots, it would still be bad. But that's not what happened. He started with a right, then a left, then a right, then a left, then another right, then another left, then another right, then another left, then another right, then another left. Wrestler comes in, tries to pull him off. He busts out of that. Comes back with another right, another left, another right, a left, right, right. 22 times. Come on, Chael, Sonnen. I love you, brother. You don't know me personally or anything like that, but I love your work. I love your shtick. I love your MMA analysis. I love your political analysis. You are a smart dude. I love your wrestling analysis. This is bad. This is bad. We all saw the video. If it was just one or two licks, we would be like, man, Roger's a bitch. But man, we're like, well, after we saw, we're like, man, Raja is a bitch. Come on, man. You're cleaning it up. You're cleaning this up. You're cleaning this up for a family friend, and they ain't making you look good. We'll get more, and it's not making you look good.
And again, I'm giving you my perception, but I watched this thing 20 times before I made this video to you guys.
If you watch this 20 times, then you cannot describe this thing the way you are describing it. I watched it once. Well, after watching so many other reviewers look at this, Jesse on Fire, Mediocre and Tutorial Reviews, Blood Rush over on Instagram, Side Scrollers. Side Scrollers is a gaming channel. They were covering this. I didn't see it with Jason Whitlock, but he covered it. This is all over the place. Asmongold, Moist Critical, Abba and Preach, Stevie Knight, Anthony Brian Logan. There was a couple of women channels that covered it too. You can't sit there and say that you watched this 20 times and then start off trying to clean this shit up in your review, man. I'm like, dude. Oh my goodness. I'm already 10 minutes into this video and I'm only 2 minutes into this one. Because I won't sit here and say that you're blatantly misrepresenting, but you are misrepresenting what happened. It's like, dude, come on. This is nuts.
While they were very stiff shots, not what we would call a working shot, it did not appear that Raja had lost.
See, he knows a thing or two about pro wrestling because he called it a working shot. The working shot obviously means it's a lesser shot, a lesser powerful punch. It's not like a receipt or anything like that, but it's a little bit more solid than a receipt, but less than an actual punch. And those weren't just stiff shots, man. Come on. Come on, I'm 2 minutes, 15 seconds in, and I had to stop it again. You got to be better than this, Chael. Come on, brother. Come on.
His temper. It did not appear that these were being done out of anger, as much as, all right, I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to spin you in a 180. I'm going to bring you down in the middle of the cage. Then, just like a cage fight, I'm going to land a punch to either side. Whatever's supposed to happen after that. There was a couple of guys there, a referee, another wrestler, perhaps the boys step in. We'll never know.
These weren't done out of anger. You should go check out my other video. You go check out Media and Tutorial Reviews. Go check out Abba and Preach. Abba and Preach probably has the best description of it all. But I was describing it like this first before those two and before Mediocre and Tutorial Reviews. But I'm not as big a channel as those two. Roger Jackson has serious daddy issues. And it didn't help that Rampage's daddy was egging him on, taunting him, teasing him, calling him gay, and implying that he doesn't know how to defend himself. He needs help. You want me to send out the goons? That's an embarrassment. Roger Jackson had all kinds of pent up rage. The slam was because it was rageful. Every last one of those hits were rageful. Stu just happened to be the vessel through which all of Roger's anger would be poured into. Then on top of that, Roger was getting egged on by his chat, by anonymous know-nothings. Little pieces of shit that don't give a fuck about him. It's like that dude was amped up. He got, in fact, after the apology that Stu respectfully gave to him multiple times, that Roger had refused for a rebuff a couple of times, but then ultimately reached his hand out and did the right thing at that time. He was all cool. He was all good. Then he got on with his chat. Then he got that phone call from his daddy. And it was mostly the phone call from his daddy that really riled him up. Because he thought his daddy called him a bitch, and he basically did. I don't think Rampage actually called him a bitch. But then you saw at the end of that video when Raja was like, man, I ain't no bitch. I'll always defend myself. Real shit. I'm tired of people fucking playing with me. Come on, Chael. You can do better than this. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to respond to Sean Strickland or Philly Fresh, Philip Rowe on this video. I'll do a separate video for them because after this, Chael Sonnen made a follow-up video having to explain this. And I'm going to just tell you this right now. If you got to make a follow-up video to defend the first video, you're already on the wrong side. Let's go ahead and continue with this one.
Because at this point, it appears that Raja marked out for his own gimmick and really begins laying some shots in, but those shots are done out of anger. And if you want to understand what happened here, you're going to have no ability to get into the eye or mind of the DA or a potential juror. You're going to have no ability to do that if you don't understand emotion versus action, right? The action is supposed to look like he's punching him. The action is supposed to look like he turns him in a 180 and slams him down on the back of his head. So then, where you cross that already blurred line, right, which professional wrestling is already the blurred line, where you cross that is where Jackson actually gets angry. The rest of it, from a physicality and an appearance standpoint, is what you're supposed to do. And sometimes some shots get through. One of the most famous ones that you guys would have seen was Braun Strowman. Brock Lesnar trusted Braun. Braun did a move that was too hard. Brock responded with a real-life punch. That settled Strowman back down. But these are very normal things that happen in the business. We then, as an audience, get armed with what led us to this point. And there's another video that has surfaced where Psycho Stu is in the back. They're like literally outside. It's a nice day. The wrestlers are out there. They're carrying on and whatnot, working out their spots. Raja Jackson is back there. It appears as though this is where Psycho Stu meets him. And Psycho Stu takes a full can of beer and busts it open on the side of Raja's head. The other wrestlers, they don't jump in and pull him apart and break him apart. One of the other wrestlers is informing Stu, hey, this kid, Raja, he's not a worker. Meaning he is not a professional wrestler. He is not part of the show. He is not one of us. He's a dude that's back here and you just broke a bottle over his head. So Psycho Stu then, in yet another video, but all preceding the event in the ring, explains to Raja, hey, we're always working. You know, this is always a work, whether we're trying to fool the audience or we're just trying to fool the boys in the back. You know, you and I have got an angle now. So the rest of the guys tell Raja, who was a little bit confused by this and really didn't like that he had a can busted over his head. It didn't hurt him, but it embarrassed him. And he is a legitimate fighter. Like, he's going to have an ego like anybody and not going to want that
Kelly,
to happen.
I'm recording right now. What's up?
Blow up and react. The guys told him,
No.
get even with him in the ring.
All right, bye.
Now, that is wildly open to interpretation, what that means. But it made a level of sense to Raja, who agrees. I'm not going to do anything to him. And as a matter of fact, this whole can busting thing and the rage that I would have felt from that, or the embarrassment or the anger, is actually long past. But get even in the ring. Now, when that is being said to him, I can just tell you, because that is a very common thing that would be said in that type of environment. It just means go make it look good. If he embarrassed you here, go embarrass him there. If he walked up and punked you in front of the boys, go out there, punk him in front of the crowd. Get even with him. They didn't mean go out there and hurt him or go out there and have a fight with them. These two are cooperating. But one is a worker who fully understands that in Stu. The other is not a professional wrestler that's at an event and knows what he was told by people that he trusts, which is go get even with him, just wait to do it in the ring. Now, a number of people that will come into pro wrestling that don't know pro wrestling, the wrestler will actually tell them, just hit me. Big Show did this with Floyd Mayweather. builds this thing up and it's going to be at WrestleMania, and Floyd had no wrestling practice, and Big Show should just let it go. Floyd, hey, I don't really know how to control these shots. Do I do it with an open hand? Do I get close and I stop? Do I stomp my foot down? Like, what do I do? And Big Show's like, you don't do any of those things. You just hit me. I can take the shot. And the only way we're going to sell this and make this look real for the audience is if it is real. And a number of wrestlers have told a number of non-wrestlers this very thing. So, okay, but now that you've got all of these pieces, all right.
And regards to that, and by the way, if you guys heard me talking to my wife right there, say hi to my wife, Kelly. But in regards to this here, even though Floyd Mayweather is not a professional wrestler or anything like that, he still would know how to be able to pull a shot. He would still know how to pull a shot even at a pretty full speed and everything. But Big Show being a professional, both men actually being professional. Floyd Mayweather, according to Chael, asking, "Hey, how hard should I hit you?" And Big Show saying, "Nah, you can hit me really hard." That's them two planning that out. No such thing happened between Roger Jackson and Psycho Stu. The entire impromptu of this angle, as he called it, was just complete and utter shite. If you guys are familiar with Critical Drinker, he uses a clip that says that where this British woman says, "I smell utter shite." Yes, complete and utter shite. And shite, obviously shit. But that wasn't done between Roger Jackson and Psycho Stu. In fact, both men were still pretty ignorant about their whole entire thing of what was supposed to actually happen, and when Roger Jackson would get in the ring. But even still, Roger Jackson has done multiple rounds of sparring, and he knows how to pull back and go in nice and hard to where it would be a hard strike, but it wouldn't be as damaging as a full power strike. He didn't do any of that. He didn't do any of that with any of those punches that he was throwing. And there's video of him saying, about him basically premeditating this, that he's not going to pull no punches, and that he's going to get his respect because he's being egged on by his audience. Most of what he was just saying, the reason why I let it play out a bit more this time around is because this analysis by Chael is actually pretty level-headed and pretty neutral. That first beginning part, that was garbage. That was straight garbage. That was straight garbage from Chael. But this part right here, it was pretty more level-headed and reasonable. And I just wanted to stop and comment on how a professional boxer approached a pro wrestler and said, "How should I do this?" To state that neither of those things happened between Psycho Stu and Roger Jackson.
If Raja attempts to take a defense in a court from a legal proceeding, the police have not arrested him. But we already know what happened, and we've got it on video. And it's gross. And it is an assault, and it is outside of what was agreed upon in pro wrestling. And so many people have made this mistake in sport before, thinking, well, it's up to the referee. Whatever the referee says, but this was all part of sport. Like there is a piece of human psychology that works like that, but you have a police department that is in possession of this information and has not done an arrest. Why? Well, if Stu comes out and says this was all part of the spot, if he just says those words, no matter how much you're reworking reality and history, if he says those words, the police then look like fools. If Stu doesn't say those words and say, hey, this was not scripted, as a matter of fact, he's even given a confession. He's saying that he's doing this for retribution for something else that I did. You have a legal right to defend yourself. That's true. But there's a sustainable difference between defense and vengeance. And one of them is instantaneous and one of them is premeditated. So the police are in possession of a video which is highly against the law unless Stu comes out as a performer and says this was agreed upon. And you have...
Now, I don't agree with that in one iota. As I just mentioned earlier, there was nothing agreed upon between Psycho Stu and Roger Jackson. And when Roger Jackson is sitting there having that conversation with his chat on his kick stream and with his daddy, all of that leads to the premeditation. Psycho Stu had no knowledge of any of that, and he didn't definitely have any knowledge of him getting slammed. Because if he did, he would have better prepared for it. He definitely didn't have it for the ground and pound, because if he did, he would have defended himself against the ground and pound. It's already been alleged that Psycho Stu was drunk. So he's already not in his right state of mind. He's doing this performance while he's drunk. So it's like, no, I don't think that Psycho Stu is going to come out and say, "Oh, it was all part of the act." Not unless he takes a bribe from the Rampage Jackson or from Knox Pro, which I highly doubt he will. Man is still in the hospital recovering. Allegedly, he has bouts of amnesia. Doesn't remember what's going on. Doesn't remember how he got there. Choking on his own blood and teeth. According to what was told on the Scaling Up podcast, which is another one you guys check out. Jess on Fire for his analysis of the C.T. Fletcher interview with Andre, the gay cowboy. I don't think he's gay or anything like that, but any man that dressed like that just looks weird. And then Scaling Up podcast, who had an interview with the guy who stopped, the only guy in there that stopped Roger Jackson from continuing his assault, because he at least had a little bit of training, actual Greco-Roman freestyle style type wrestling training. So he knew a thing or two about actual wrestling. But as far as a defense, the only defense I think that Roger Jackson has is that he temporarily went insane. He was so filled with rage and blinded by his own rage that he really didn't understand what it was that he was doing. He was egged on by his chat and by his sorry dad. I hate the fact that I gotta say this about Rampage, but nah, you were bad mouthing your own son, trying to treat him like a friend. These parents who treat their kids like friends are bad parents in my view. Your children are not your friends. You are above your kids. You are to set an example, and you are to provide instruction and discipline when necessary. This was not the time for Rampage to sit there and call his own son gay and to imply that he couldn't defend himself. This was a time for Rampage to tell Roger Jackson, hey, you in a strange environment, don't act a fool and keep your wits about you and stay level-headed.
No idea how far Stu would take that. Stu is clearly unconscious. In real life, he's unconscious. But is he going to come out and say that? Or is he going to stick to kayfabe and stick to the character and say, no, the whole script was I let him spin me in one day, I come down, I act like I'm unconscious. All we did is follow the script. And Stu hasn't spoke yet. If Stu was to come out, it would effectively end his time in professional wrestling. Back in the territory days, there was a number.
By the way, this all seems like Chael is trying to lead Stu into saying something that he shouldn't, that he wants him to say. as opposed to him giving any type of advice to Stu about how he should proceed. By the way, there was reports that Stu has awakened, but that he doesn't remember a lot about what happened during this entire time. He's still in the hospital. That dude's going to have a long recovery. He's going to have a long recovery and everything like that. But let's let this go ahead and finish up. I won't say anything more until afterwards. I want to get to his response video, Chael's response video.
Bookers that would tell the boys, everybody's got a camera now. You got it right on your phone. But it didn't used to be that way back then. And these guys would go out to the taverns, and the promoter and booker would tell them openly, you can go out and you can go to the local bars. If any of you get beat up in a fight at a local bar, you're fired. Like if any of you break the character that you're not real badasses, even to a bar full of 30 or less people, that's 30 or less people that I don't need to know that you're not actual badasses. Go ahead and go out, lose a fight, you're fired. So I'm sharing with you Stu, who is dedicated and has spent some time, and he's out there on this indie scene. Is he willing to take a match and light a fire to his career in exchange for his retribution to Raja? It's not as though you can sue Raja and end up with millions of dollars. You could go sue him and get a judgment. The guy doesn't have the money. You're not going to get the money. And I'm just sharing with you, like, this is an actually fascinating situation. And I don't like that Raja did it. However, if Raja is saying he did it in retribution to the Beer King, because that's how the boys told him to settle it, and Stu goes along with it, I mean, you will truly have a kayfabe moment where these guys could build. These are indie scene guys. This isn't getting picked up by Triple H. But on the indie scene, you now have the makings of a good angle. And an angle in exchange for your reputation, even if it's make-believe, is a trade that most guys would take. Now, I'm getting in front of this and I'm making these predictions without having news if Psycho Stu is injured. If his jaw's broken and some teeth are loose, all of a
All right, I think we've heard enough on that one and everything like that, because we all know Psycho Stu was very injured, very much injured. And Chael Sonnen, once again, it's like the beginning was crap. The middle was okay. The next middle, the three at the 75% range was like, okay, this is getting cringe. And now we're back to the crap phase. Come on now. Now, granted, this was taken 2 days ago. I'll link that in the description. Rampage Jackson's Son Pro Wrestling Beatdown. By the way, notice I am willing to bet that almost every YouTube video, every TikTok video, every Instagram video, or at least the majority. Let me preface it that way. The majority are going to mention Rampage Jackson Son, or use that vernacular, Rampage Jackson's son. I mean, you can look over here. This is Scaling Up podcast right here. This one just says Roger Jackson. This one says Roger Jackson. This one says Rampage Jackson's son. This one says Rampage Jackson's son. This says this is disgusting. Roger Jackson incident. Rampage Jackson failed his son. Rampage Jackson's son. Fake tough guy, Roger Jackson, Rampage Jackson's son, Roger with Rampage Jackson's son. I was like, dude, it's that's what Roger Jackson is dealing with. And look at the ratio on this. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a downvote too. Look at the ratio. This thing got ratioed to high heaven. Raja beat Stu so badly that he managed to give Chael brain damage as well. That's a good one. This is the sound of 1.34 million people collectively losing respect for our favorite uncle. Hey, you gotta, let's just start by, It doesn't have most popular or anything like that because I just want to see the most popular ones. But you can go through here. It's like, dude, yeah, this is definitely the wrong take, brother. This is definitely the wrong take. So he's taking his L's on this one. But let's go back because on my search right here, this is the video that he put out. The response to his response, and like I said at the beginning of this, or towards the middle or somewhere, because we've been recording for a while now. When you gotta come out and make a video defending your first video, you're already on bad territory. And this one got ratio too. No one, quote unquote, turned on you, Chael. You put out a scumbag take in order to run interference for Rampage's son. It's gross. Own it. Can't argue with the facts. I won't play this entire thing. I probably play the first 5 minutes of it, and then I'm gonna call the video. So let's go ahead and get on with this one.
Have the greatest social media following, but it's known for that. Other people will tell me like how envious they are, how you guys always back me, how you realize I'm the linear champion, how you realize I'm the one that retired John Jones, that I'm the one that ripped his toe off. And I gotta tell you, I got lit up. I got lit up last night. I got challenged. I got called the F word. Not the one that.
By the way, he doesn't cuss, which is fascinating. That's fascinating that Chael Sonnen doesn't use any curse words or anything like that. And I'm not saying it's fascinating in that he's a abnormality or anything like that. I'm saying it's fascinating because of his restraint and his discipline and not using certain choice words in his vocabulary. I respect him for that one. And the F word that he's probably talking about is the word faggot. I'm just going to go out and just say the word that because I don't mind saying the word or anything like that myself. But yeah, it's not the F bomb. It's the other F bomb, faggot, which obviously he's not.
Ends in an R. I got called the other F word multiple times. And what do you call that on Twitter? Where you DM somebody and it goes to a box and you have to accept, well, DM, right? Talked to Joel this morning. Joel gives me the business too. Now, this all has to do with a piece that I made and put out yesterday, Sunday, about Rajah Jackson. And Joel even says to me, man, he's disgusted. I can hear it in his voice. I mean, I've known Joel 30 years. Like, he is legitimately disgusted with me. Of which is a word that he actually used. I'm disgusted. And he goes, I know why you did that. I know why you took his side. You were trying to be controversial and get clicks, but yeah, you're on the wrong side of this. It was an attempted murder. And he's going on and on. And much like the people in the DMs and much like the people that I heard from on social media, you didn't see the piece. Yeah, I mean, it's about an 8 or 9, 10-minute piece. And what you're describing is about 8, 9, 10 seconds. So I let Joel yell at me.
You need to understand PR. That first part of your video, I wanted to stop watching it after that first part of the video. You saw I stopped it multiple times to respond because it was that bad of a take, my brother. It was that bad of a take. And people are livid. All right, let me get the last 4 minutes off in.
And he's telling me, he said, this is an attempted murder. And I said, all right, Joel. I said very calmly like this, I'm acting this out for you. This just happened. I just hung up. I said, all right, Joel. I said, if I would have called the police from a payphone anonymously and told them that I saw you do that in a 7-Eleven parking lot, you would have been in handcuffs hours ago. He goes, yeah, that's right where I belong. I said, oh, okay, but in this case, it's on video. The police are in possession of the video, and they have not made an arrest. That is the talking point. Attempting to understand why is the...
I'm going to sum it up very simply for you. The reason why he's not in jail is because he's Rampage Jackson's son. For all to make this, sorry to make this about race and everything like that, but for all the pro-blacks out there and all the bougies who think that cops have it out for bad for black people and all that, the reason why Roger Jackson is not in jail right now is because he's Rampage Jackson's son. That name has bought him a little bit of leeway while the police, the LAPD, are out there investigating. Of course, this is in California too, because that... I won't say much on that or anything like that, but he bought a little bit of reprieve while this is under investigation. If this was any other one of us, we'd be in jail right now. We wouldn't be able to leave the premises. We would still be at Knox Pro being held down until the police came.
Entire talking point. And the psychology there is very fascinating, of which judge, jury, and executioner has decided they got the evidence, they got the premeditation, because Raja said, I'm going to go in and I'm going to hit him for real. And there's a video in the back of one of the wrestlers that's lining this whole thing up that tells him, get your receipt, hit him for real. Just do it in the ring. Before that, there's a gimmicked can of beer busted over Raja's head. Raja tells his live stream for 50 subs, I'll knock this guy out, something along these lines. Well, what you just described is every wrestler that was on the card that night. Every single wrestler hit the opponent they had, whether you won the match or lost the match. Every opponent took a fist, threw it at him for the entertainment of the crowd. Supposed to be controlled working shots is what they call this. Raja was throwing potatoes. But your idea that you have all the evidence that you need and you can prove premeditation, which escalates this, by the way, from an assault to attempted murder. And all the evidence that you need, you've got. Because Raja himself told his live stream that he was going to do this. And he was going to do it to seek retribution for the disrespect he was shown for being hit with the beer can. Once again, before we get into whether I saw exactly what you saw, but before we get into that, we're discussing it from a standpoint, okay? And you always have to remind people of this. You do not get to go arrest Al Pacino for selling cocaine and chopping people up with machetes because you just watched an episode of Scarface. You don't get to decide as the viewer where the show ends and real life begins because you're so skilled and talented that a good worker doesn't have the ability to fool you.
I can't believe this fool just compared reality. He just compared reality to a movie. Everybody knows that Al Pacino was an actor in Scarface and nobody got murdered in that movie in any of those scenes. Good movie, by the way. You guys go check that out. But we just got through watching Roger Jackson from beginning to end. We just saw the complete meltdown of a man leading up to a premeditation to do bodily harm to another man. And you're comparing that to a movie? Come on, Chael. This video is worse than the other one. I can't believe that you put this out, man. This guy, this is going to get, this is another ratio. Come on, you got to do better than that. This right here, this is seriously embarrassing. This feels like career suicide unfolding in front of us. I mean, Goodness gracious, brother. We are all dumber for having heard this. This is unbelievable, brother. Chael, take the L on this one. Take the L. Take the L and don't speak on this one anymore. That's just my view. What are your guys' thoughts on this? I'll leave a link to both of these videos in the description. I wanted to get to Sean Strickland and Philip Rowe, but I'll do a separate video for them because they're pretty much linked together. So I'll be doing that one right after this one. Make sure you guys do like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notifications, all that good stuff. Helps me out. This is Chris Bo signing off. I'll catch you guys in the next video.